Hey guys, welcome back again to Rebuild Reality, where as always, we talk about who we really are, why we're here, and how all of this 3D stuff works. I am your host, Sky Cheyenne, and today we're going to be talking about something we spoke about a bit before, and that is age reversal. Why am I going to do that again? Because there's more to tell about it. Because I had so many people that I've been working with, so many clients bring that video up to me and ask more about it. I had a lot of emails about it as well. People contacting me through, the link in the description, and they're like talking about all of these things, and a lot of people want to know when it's going to be available. They want to know more information about it and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so I jiggled my camera. The reason I brought it up in the first place is to point out, not only is it a cool thing, but really it was to point out the fact that because science has just discovered it, recently discovered it in the last couple of years, how to actually do it, how to actually reverse your age and put you in a little time loop if they want. And then, of course, along with age reversal also comes disease reversal. Because you're rebooting the program, you're rebooting the system again. And some of these things, the University of California at San Diego is able to reverse age up to 82%. So, although some articles will say, oh, by several years, no, like way back. In fact, they can take you back all the way to the embryonic stage, to like a baby if they wanted to. Obviously, I don't think anybody wants to buy that pill, but the ability is there. If they use the full process, they can take it back to the embryonic state. But the whole point of bringing that up is because we've always had that ability. Science has just, in 3D, has just figured out the chemical process that was causing aging, and because they know what caused it, they were able to basically reverse engineer it, which I've always said. I'll tell you what, people are like, you look at, disease, and most things out there, if you look up the cause, unknown, don't know. Well, how could you give anyone a medication if you don't know what's even causing it? You can't reverse engineer it. So, but I've always said, if there's a way to get there, there is always a way to get back. Of course there is. And so many people have proved that, within the manifesting, reality creating, world that we live in here on YouTube and on other social media. There are many, many examples of people who have had very serious diseases, stage 4 cancer, lymphoma, all kinds of things that have completely reversed it. But just because science has figured it out doesn't mean that we haven't already had that in our programming, that ability all along. Because we don't need a pill. We don't need anyone's permission. We don't need to wait for anyone to figure anything out. And I don't care if it's reversing illness, reversing disease, reversing aging, or rising from the freaking dead. Guess what? That program is in here. That ability is in here. It would have to be, because all realities, all possibilities exist within us, within every single cell. If you're looking at things on the physical level, when science looks at it, basically their conclusion is like, well, it all breaks down to information, in these little holographic worlds. That's the interpretation of it, but it's actually all information that is light. And even though it's a hologram that appears, on a 3D perspective, that would be kind of a separation. That's like a hologram of light, and it's like a prism. But it all comes just like when you have a piece of glass, you take one light, one thing, one truth, one reality, and you shine that through a piece of glass, and then you get a prism, like a rainbow that comes out. This is what this is. It's a rainbow of information that is, appears as like a hologram of information. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, that's what it is. But how could we not be able to do anything? And I don't, and especially physically, because there is no physical. There is no physical. There is no matter. This is a pretend thing. This is a pretend avatar, that consciousness is plugged into in order to play this virtual reality game. This is what's happening here, So we're not matter, we're consciousness. So consciousness can do any freaking thing it pleases. Can't it? So a lot of people talk about the I am. Well, the I am is just when you kind of pull yourself out of this, like kind of visually, you have like this visual thing where you just pull yourself out and you're like, oh. So you kind of almost distance yourself from what's kind of happening around you. You kind of have, begin to have that kind of perception. And one of the ways I was taught to do that was to start, you could see yourself like at pillars, and it can be pillars that are around maybe in a circle or, in a group or just in one line. And you see you, then you view yourself from back here behind the next pillar, viewing yourself behind the first pillar, and then you do it again. Then you go and you see that version and that version from the third version. Then you go back to the fourth version and you view those other versions of you. And this is like a process that you can use that helps to pull you out of your body. Pull you out of the perception, because when you go into and kind of like meditate, like that, doing a visualization, interesting things happen. You'll see different versions of you. And because your imagination is real, all those versions of you actually exist. So everything is possible. Once you get that and accept that we're just consciousness playing this virtual reality simulation game for fun. And how it works is it's just our thoughts, and whatever you think the most is the direction you'll go. Why? Because we're consciousness. We're not like this physical, I gotta move this heavy matter. It's like that doesn't exist, It's just moving your consciousness. So whatever you focus on the most, whatever you're aware of, as people say, whatever you think about the most is just simply where you'll go. That's how we drive. You want to go over here, you want to go over there, you start looking at that, you start thinking about it, and then you will go that way because there's no matter to take along with you. It's just consciousness. So of course, you can think of it as your subconscious mind. You can think of it as the universe. Like they always say, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between you thinking about something and actually physically doing it. Why? Because it knows that there's no reality. There's no solid reality. So it follows along wherever you go. You're driving by where you're looking, what you decide. This is my reality. Ooh, I'm this person. I'm going to be this person, or I'm going to, realize that I am the person behind the mask. So whatever reality you want to have. And I think that when you really start to open up to this, and then you realize, well, hold on a second. I couldn't just be a 3D character. I could be someone who exists on multiple realities and be conscious of that. Why not? Why not? I can think about it. I can envision it, which means I can have it. So, I don't think that we should limit ourselves. All the things you've ever dreamed of, all the things you've ever fantasized, I don't care if it's traveling to other worlds, that are out in space, or within your own mind, to other levels of consciousness. Why couldn't you? Of course you could. You're doing it anyway. You just aren't aware of it, is all. I mean, why can't the wall open up and angels come flying through? Why can't these things happen? But why not? We're just consciousness. whatever we think of, we can create anything we want. So all the things that everyone's fantasized about things while growing up or what have you. So we just didn't realize that they were real, because only consciousness is real. Only our imagination is real. Like I said, this is like something we created. That's it. It's just another creation. We've created lots of worlds, many, many worlds, infinite worlds, as a matter of fact. And there are infinite versions of us existing everywhere. We're just moving our consciousness to other places, It's like, what's it look like from here? What's it look like from there? We're just simply consciousness popping around the universe, if you want to look at it that way, But I think that to wake up to the fact that this stuff is real means that reversing age, well, child's play, isn't it? Really? Because I've renewed myself a number of times within this same lifeline, then I shift, and then I shift, and then I shift, and I become a new person, because of course I'm reborn again. That's what being reborn is about. Why wouldn't you be able to rise from the dead? It's already shown you have that ability within you. My Father does the works. Well, you are the Father. It's one thing. Everything is one exact same thing. So it's just a matter of expanding our mind to, it's like that whole thing. Well, if that's true, that means that that's true, and that's true, and that has to be true. So when you kind of open up to these things, you realize that sky is the limit, In my last incarnation, I like to call it, I just kind of think of it that way. In this lifetime, I got up to 63 years old, and then I reversed it. At least that's what it said on the birth certificate. And then I went in and changed it. And I am kind of going through these different transformations, I guess you could call it. And you can kind of see that if you look at like the first video that I did, which was like, about 6 months ago now. I look pretty different. Obviously I've kept some features and stuff. Like my eyes, I like my eyes, but yeah, it's just been a process of just morphing into somebody else. And like I say, it's already part of the programming. It's already here. It's just 3D science that goes, oh my God, look what we found. It's like, oh, that's been there all along. That's why we have like what they call junk DNA. That just means they don't know what it does. That's just stuff that just can be switched on. But these things have always been able to be switched on or off right here, right here, right here. All it takes is, like I say, understanding. Because when you look at the facts, it's just, even on a 3D level, it's not too hard to see that this just isn't real. Even like I say, even 3D says it's not real. So, but we still live in these other worlds where we pretend that 3D is real. We pretend that matter is real. We pretend that time is real. When it's already, even on a 3D level, proven to be a lie. So when we wake up to the true reality, just simply the truth of what's really going on here, wow, things start to change very, very rapidly. So you guys have these abilities within you. They're part of your programming. You installed it. You made it so you could do absolutely anything. You could be anyone. You could be, or be or do or have anything you want, because it's all right here, right now. And I like to think of it sometimes as like I'm in a giant football stadium, you know, an enclosed football stadium, and it's dark. And I could only see, I got really bad eyesight, and I can't really see anything unless I really focus on it. And if I really focus on one thing, it starts to like, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. And then I'm like, oh, that I can see. But everything's here. Everything is here in this football stadium. Every version, every reality, infinity is here. All possibilities are here. Just because the physical eyes doesn't have the ability currently to perceive everything, because that's just part of the game. That was the whole point to begin with, was to pretend we weren't everything, because then it's kind of like, oh, guess I know how that turns out. You know, it's not, there's no adventure. Like I said, there's no real excitement, fun. So yeah, pulling back the covers, breaking these things open, it's just who you are. It's just simply who you are and the abilities you already have within you. All you have to do is be like, yep, that's true for me. Yep, that's true for me. You just decide, that's it. Having it, that is mine. That's my reality now. That's mine. And I'm going to live in that reality. Yeah, it's pretty freaking fine here. I love it. Love it. You know, enjoy yourself. Have a good time, because that's the true reality. None of this stuff ever was. So I hope that that kind of helps clear that up, that that's the reason I brought it all up to begin with. Not because, you know, obviously it's kind of a cool, yeah, it's a great story that 3D has discovered it, you know, and now it will be part of this program, but that's just part of you, because you're waking up. That's why it's become part of your program. It's come into your awareness. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this. That's why you're seeing this now, because you were at a place where you were ready for that, you know, on some level you were ready to hear that. So that's why you're hearing it, that you can do absolutely anything. And you always have been. Like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, even though you've been out on your adventure that was like this, woo, scary lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Well, in reality, you're safe back at home with all of those who love you, which is all that you are right now, just in a virtual reality suit. You've always been safe. You've always been protected, and you always will be, because you've never really gone anywhere. So I hope that that kind of helps put this in perspective, like I said, and, you know, hopefully makes an impact with you guys. So you start to let down those walls, let down those barriers, start to be like, well, wait a minute, if I can do that, I'm just consciousness, I can go anywhere I want to go. Absolutely. Absolutely true. So thank you guys for being here with me once again on Rebuild Reality. Thank you for being part of this conversation, this reality. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. Like I said, being part of the conversation going on here. You know, I think it's good for us to all really kind of, because the more information, right, the better, the more perspectives, the more information, we bring it all together, we create a whole, you know, where everyone can, you know, contribute, because together we're always better. Which is why I look forward to seeing you here next time on Rebuild Reality.